It's time to settle this once and for all. Back in 2021, I did a video of YouTooz versus Funko Pops. However, I guess that video made a little bit of controversy because it so happens that Funko Pops did defeat YouTooz, and so that led me to a second part of the video that was released in either September or October of 2022, which in that point, YouTooz had defeated Funko Pops. So I thought it was finally time to do the quote-unquote rubber match, as it's called in professional wrestling, where we finally break the tie. One final match between YouTooz versus Funko Pops. So I'm DK Wrestler, and of course this is the third and hopefully final time that I'm going to be having YouTooz Collectibles against Funko Pop figures, and let's see who wins this. So let's get right to it. And the first one I wanted to go with was a licensor that Funko hasn't done in quite a while, but YouTooz just picked up the license for a couple of years ago, and that is Breaking Bad. And the one I'm going to be comparing is basically what's called the Crystal Meth Heisenberg. So we have the Funko Pop of the Crystal Meth Heisenberg that was created for San Diego Comic-Con in 2015, and I believe it was limited to X amount of pieces. I could be wrong. But then recently, within the last year, we now have the Brad's Toys exclusive Blue Heisenberg that is limited to 750 pieces. So both of these collectibles are super limited. So let's talk about the Funko Pop first. So with the Funko Pop, it is all blue except the fact that you do have the hat, the shades, and the goatee all being black. So I like the fact that it's not entirely one color per se, while you do have an array of the light blue and you have the black, which both colors stick out very well. And then of course, the Heisenberg Pop is holding a bag of the crystal meth, along with holding the weapon of his choice in the other hand. While with the Brad's Toys exclusive Blue Heisenberg, it is more of a darker tinted blue rather than the light tinted blue as we see with the Funko Pop, and there is no black on this for the shades, the hat, or the mustache in this case, which I guess that blue does look pretty nice, but at the same time, I feel that the lighter blue is a little bit better, and also the added attention of like the glittery effect. So when choosing both of these figures, I will have to go with the Funko Pop in this case because of how bright the blue is and how there is an array of colors more than just the one singular blue for the YouTooz. And don't worry, especially if you're a mega YouTooz fans, we still got 4 figures to go, so don't comment and troll down below saying, "Stop making it, it's a Funko Pop guy, blah blah blah." Shut your fucking mouth and keep watching this video. The next character is based off of something that Funko and YouTooz has capitalized on, and that is memes. We've seen meme-worthy characters, whether it's from an IP or not, but this is one specifically from just a meme itself, and that is This Is Fine Dog. So the Funko Pop was made, I want to say about 3 years ago or 4 years ago at this point. That was an Entertainment Earth exclusive, while the YouTooz figure I believe was made just before that, and it's just, I believe, a common release if I'm not mistaken. So when comparing both of these figures, so starting off with the Funko Pop, of course it does have that top hat. You got the black eyes, nose, and the ears. You do have him holding up the This Is Fine cup, and then you do have a bit of the fire around the chair that he's sitting in. And then you look at the YouTooz figure, it also obviously is sitting in the chair, but you don't have the inclusion of the cup that says This Is Fine. And then you do have the fire in there, but the fire is actually way better in this figure than it is with the Funko Pop. And then with the eyes, it does have the slit YouTooz eyes, which over the years, I will admit, these eyes have definitely grown on me because it has taken to my opinion before in the 2 previous parts of how I didn't like the YouTooz eyes compared to the Funko Pop ones, but I am starting to really grow on the way that these YouTooz eyes look, especially the way that they're pulled off with the This Is Fine Dog, where you do have the white background with that. I think it makes the eyes look really cool in that aspect. And when it comes to both these figures, I kind of like how he's holding a cup in the Funko Pop rather than what he's not in the YouTooz figures. But at the end of the day, you got to look at both these figures and see how accurate they are to the actual meme itself. So right now I'm pulling up the photo of the meme itself of him sitting on the chair, and in the meme itself, he actually isn't holding a cup, which makes the YouTooz a little bit more accurate, and that where it says This Is Fine is because of a speech bubble, which both of these figures don't have a speech bubble. But at the end of the day, I am going to go with the YouTooz figure. I think it is more accurate to the actual meme itself than the the Funko Pop, plus they made the fire so massive like it is in the meme, unlike the Funko Pop, where the fire is just kind of tiny and it wouldn't make sense for him to just be like, this is fine. The next character I'm going to be looking at is for SpongeBob SquarePants, which celebrates its 25th anniversary this year, and I wanted to go with the character that Funko had actually just announced a pop for literally last week, while YouTooz had already made it like a year or two prior, and that is of course the character of Doodle Bob. So of course, like I mentioned, the Funko Pop was literally announced last week, and as I'm recording this video, has yet hit stores, while the Doodle Bob YouTooz has been created for quite a bit now, and I've actually seen this figure in person at my local GameStop. So of course, when looking at both of the bodies, it's obviously the same. It's that same square body to imitate SpongeBob SquarePants. When you look at the pencilless terms to this figure, it is a bit of a brighter color compared to the YouTooz, where it is a bit dark. It obviously is the same posing where he's holding the pencil, so you can't really judge of how the arms are. The legs are pretty much in the same position, except the YouTooz is more to the left, while each foot is on different sides for the Funko Pop. The mouth is slightly different, but it gives the same impression realistically. The Funko Pop actually is a bit of a lighter color, while it's kind of darker for the YouTooz, which gives more of an edge to the Funko Pop. However, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the eyes. Of course, the traditional Funko Pop eyes with just the solid black line, but once again, when you actually look at a picture of Doodle Bob, the YouTooz eyes and how they executed that slit is almost similar to the actual circle effect of Doodle Bob. So not gonna lie, even though I kind of like the brightness of the Funko Pop more than the YouTooz, I'm actually going to be giving the edge to the YouTooz figure. I think they did it just slightly a bit better, and if you're wondering, it's 2-to-1. So anyone that's on the side of YouTooz watching this, you better not be complaining at this point. The next character I'm going to be looking at is not really a character, but I can say it's a dual monster from my favorite anime of all time, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and that of course is Blue Eyes White Dragon. So of course, starting off with the Funko Pop that had released in the first wave in 2018. I do like the way that it is posed, obviously, and the kind of metallic-y effect involved with this pop, even though they did do a metallic Blue Eyes White Dragon at one point, but that's more of a silver color rather than the actual blue here. It does look really nice. You can see the detail within the body, the arms, and the wings of this figure, and of course, with the traditional Funko Pop eyes of being one solid color, of course, it is the dark blue that really stands out from this Funko Pop. And of course, you do have the detail of the tongue and the razor sharp teeth involved with this. And then the YouTooz, which was recently released, I believe this past summer, has a lot of great detail. I kind of dig how blue it is compared to the Funko Pop and more of that royal blue color that you do see in the TV series. The teeth are really nice also, but when looking at photos of Blue Eyes White Dragon, you do see within the card that the teeth are kind of spaced out, which is what you see within the Funko Pop, while it's very close together with the YouTooz figure. But you do see detail within the body and the arms and the wings also, but the color of it for the Funko Pop kind of makes it stand out more, even though I feel the YouTooz figure, the color is more towards the anime version, while the color for the Funko Pop is basically based off of what the card actually looks like with that tint of blue. And then when it comes to the eyes, of course, you have the solid blue eye for the Funko Pop, but in the YouTooz, you kind of do have the eye that's actually seen in both the anime and the card itself. So this is very difficult, but I'm actually going with the Funko Pop because you can kind of see the details of the body much more with that color that's involved with this Blue Eyes White Dragon. But honestly, this could have went either way. It's not because, of course, I have more Funko Pops than YouTooz, so don't think I'm trying to rig this. It just so happens that now it is 2-2 for this. And now you're probably wondering, what is the last character, or I should say characters, that I'm going to be comparing to, where one of these is going to break the tie and become the winner of this 3-part series. And I'm going to be going with the TV show of Invincible. More specifically, for the Funko Pop, I'm going to be going with the Invincible Moments that's exclusive to Specialty Series, where it's basically the Think Mark moment. And then I'm comparing it to the one and only YouTooz figure as of the recording of this video, which also involves Invincible and Omni-Man. Starting off with the Funko Pop moments here, there's a lot of detail. I love the execution of the blood, way more than Funko usually puts on their figures for the most part, especially with Invincible himself. You got the one eye partially closing because he has kind of a black eye, and then obviously with Omni-Man, he has his arms out. He's doing the think mark moment, which is one of the more iconic moments from, at least I've heard, for Invincible, since I've actually have not seen the series yet. And then of course the background with like the whole rock base, I would assume it is, for the setting is really nice. So they did really pull this off really nicely. But then when it comes to the YouTooz figure, this is an example of YouTooz really upping their game as terms to the detail of their figures the last couple of years, especially since the last time I did a video like this. And so of course you have both Omni-Man and Invincible inside what looks to be a train, and you have a bunch of blood everywhere, and you have a bunch of limbs. And I'm really wondering right now, because I've not seen the show like I mentioned, is that just a head on its own, or is there a body attached to it and you just can't see it because it's just a child? But overall, the detail with the amount of blood that's here, you do have a decent amount of blood on the YouTooz figure, and then you do have the arm that's kind of sticking out there with blood pouring out of it. So there's definitely a lot of great things with both of them. So now as I think about it, this is really the hardest decision, because this is what's going to break the tie between Funko Pops and YouTooz figures, which I think at the end of the day, when it comes to these figures, it's the pricing of both of these. Because if I'm not mistaken, with the regular figure, it's normally, let's say in Canadian dollars, $15. But when you're buying a moments like this, I believe it's between $40 and $45 Canadian. Over double and almost triple the amount that you would pay for a regular pop. While with the YouTooz figure here, I believe regular YouTooz are $29.99 US. So after conversion, $40 Canadian. And then it's $39.99, I believe, for the pricing of this Invincible moments here. But in this, you basically have two characters, you kind of have a third character, and so practically with the pricing of $10 more for one extra character rather than basically double, close to triple the amount for the Funko Pop, I am gonna have to say YouTooz actually takes the cake for this one, which means with a 3-2 victory, YouTooz has actually won this series once and for all. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of this conclusion of this series, and if you enjoyed this third part and hopefully final part, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below on what your opinions are for these specific figures I talked about today, and I hope to see you guys on the next video on this channel. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.